The new members of Congress were sworn in, but they're at a standstill as the government shutdown continues. Thanks for joining us, and Happy New Year. I'm Steve Sebelius.
And I'm Patrick Walker. The government shutdown is stretching into week number 3, but how long will it continue? I asked our Washington, D.C. bureau correspondent, Alexandra Limon. Well, clearly here for a second week, Alex, we're talking about the shutdown. So where are we at right now from at least what you can tell?
Well, if you thought that a new Congress being sworn in would hopefully be the end of the government shutdown, it certainly looks like you'd be wrong. Look, the House of Representatives made it clear that ending or voting to end the government shutdown, voting to pass some kind of spending deal would be their top priority, and almost immediately took votes on that. But it doesn't really matter what the House does if only the House is doing it. And as you know, Republicans increased their majority in the Senate, and right now it doesn't look like the two chambers of Congress are anywhere close to an agreement. And then the bigger thing beyond that is that even if Congress does reach a deal, we could still see President Trump say, "I won't sign that deal." In fact, that's how we got into this situation in the first place before the government shutdown started. And the president so far is digging in his heels, still demanding those $5 billion for his border wall, although some White House aides and Republicans at times have tried to say, well, maybe if Democrats increase border security spending overall, there could be a deal. Democrats are really hesitant to believe that if it isn't coming straight from the president. So there really hasn't been much movement, and the big question is, how long will this government shutdown go on? How long will government departments be closed and federal employees be furloughed with no pay? At this point, we don't have answers to those questions.
What about the chance of a funding bill that funds most of the government but, say, leaves out Homeland Security? Is that a non-starter for the White House? Does it have to? Is it still a hard line that border wall funding or border security funding has to be included as part of the total picture?
Yeah, it certainly sounds like that's the case. And the issue here is it's going to start to get pretty prickly for President Trump, who you may remember in front of dozens of cameras said, "This is my shutdown. I'm proud to take ownership of it." Well, now he's going to have to.
Well, here in Nevada, the federal government owns, controls, or manages 85% of the land, so the shutdown is definitely taking its toll here. Red Rock National Conservation Area and Mount Charleston have law enforcement officers on staff, but the Forest Service and Bureau of Land Management, they're not offering recreational use of their lands. Lake Mead has stayed open. 3,450 government workers in Nevada have been furloughed.
Nevada's congressional delegation was sworn in this week. There were two newcomers, Democratic Congresswoman Susie Lee and Congressman Stephen Horsford, although Horsford did serve in that district from 2012 to 2014, the 4th Congressional District. Democrat Jackie Rosen moved over from the House to the Senate.
Rosen and Lee talked to our Washington, D.C. bureau about what it's like stepping into an office with a partial government shutdown in full swing.
What the president has to do is he has to come out of his room and bring everyone to the table to have a conversation. He doesn't have the luxury to keep the government closed while he's holed up and being stubborn. People's mortgages are at stake, their car payments, their doctor bills, putting food on the table. So he needs to come together with all of leadership. They passed a bill in the Senate, sent it to the House before the last session ended. We thought we had a deal, and the president decided not to do that.
Is the blame solely on the president here? I mean, is it up to both sides to reach a compromise?
Well, I can tell you that in the 115th Congress, the Republicans had the House, they had the Senate, and they had the presidency. They've left money on the table from last Congress that they haven't spent on the wall, if you want to talk about it like that. And so they had the ability to pass what they wanted to do. They weren't able to come to the table and even decide amongst themselves what the right thing was to do, and now they're trying to blame it on us. Trump and the Republicans clearly own this shutdown.
The president made an unrealistic promise during the campaign, and we're holding hundreds of thousands of federal employees hostage, and really, I don't think this type of political brinkmanship does anyone any good. And in fact, we're hurting families, and so I personally will withhold my pay until we start paying our federal employees. And you know, we're going to put 2 bills on the floor today to continue actually what the Senate already approved. And you know, we just need Republicans come to the table. This is all about the border wall, and I'm certainly for increasing our border security, but I really think we need to do it as part of a comprehensive immigration reform bill. We had an immigration reform bill in 2013 that passed the Senate, never came to a vote on the floor. We know we can get there in a bipartisan manner, and that's really what we need to do. Get the government up and running, and then deal with these issues in a comprehensive manner.